it, sis. Today we're doing another workout that is festive as fudge. And I'm not sure what's cornier, your Aunt Cindy's casserole or my dance moves. But what I do know is this 22-minute high-intensity interval training workout got me dancing like I'm whiter than Santa's snowballs. And today we're gonna get fit while we chit-chat about overcoming binge eating disorder. We're doing each of these exercises for 45 seconds, and while we're resting for 15, I'm gonna demonstrate the next festive exercise for y'all. Get ready, because we're making some snow angels. We're doing 45 seconds of jumping jacks. Keep in mind that this video contains adult content, so if you have little tiny Tims running around, grab some headphones, or I've linked a family-friendly and music-free version of this video down in the description. And let me tell ya, it is PG'er than Donnie and Marie. Today, we're going to talk about binge eating disorder, but don't you worry your cute little peppermint patties. If you have never suffered from binge eating, there will still be a lot of helpful tips in this video. Keep in mind, this is just my experience and how I personally dealt with and have recovered from binge eating disorder. Now, before we talk about what binge eating disorder is, let's talk about what it ain't. You had a long day. You invite your friend over for BJ's, Ben & Jerry's. You each eat a pint of peppermint chip ice cream. Then you order a pepperoni pizza. You share it over a couple laughs. Then you take out all your leftovers. You make a turkey, potato, and cranberry sandwich, extra cheese. And then you follow it up with some pumpkin pie, extra whipped cream. Yes, you indulged in some emotional eating and want to grab something sweet or crunchy or saltier than Santa's chestnuts. Totally normal. We all have those days. But binge eating is quite different than emotional eating or overeating. There's usually a lot of guilt and negative body image involved. So we're going to discuss exactly what binge eating disorder is, and then 12 tips that have helped me personally overcome this eating disorder. Okay, so here are some of the signs of binge eating disorder. Number 1 is overeating. Not only eating past fullness, not just eating a pint of Ben & Jerry's, this is an uncontrollable eating past feeling stuffed as a Thanksgiving turkey and then eating some more. And when you do stop eating, there's a massive amount of guilt and shame and physical discomfort. Another sign of binge eating disorder is this mentality of, well, I had a slice of cheesecake. I already messed up my diet. I might as well eat the whole entire thing. And you literally eat the whole entire thing. This all or nothing mentality around food is a sign of many eating disorders. When you see food as good or bad and then you eat something on the naughty list, you feel massive amounts of shame and guilt about it. Another sign you might have BED is you have fear and anxiety around food. You're afraid to eat something that's going to cause you to gain weight, and you're always thinking about food all day long. It's almost like a drug addict. You're planning your next fix. It's usually associated with restriction of food. I remember when I was a kid, I was not allowed to have sugar. So what did I want all the time? What did I have a stash of under my bed? What did I hunt for in my friend's pantry? Sugar. Give me all the sugar. Give me all it. Another sign you have BED is that you eat alone and you hide what you're eating from people. I remember in college, my binge eating disorder was at its worst, and I remember hiding my snacks in a backpack so my roommates didn't see what I had. As I was walking into my room, I would either sit in my car and eat or lock myself in my room and eat behind closed doors. So if you're eating alone or hiding it from people, there's most likely shame involved, and it's pretty likely that you have binge eating disorder. What do burpees and cinnamon whiskey have in common? They burn almost as bad going down as they do coming up. For me personally, when I felt out of control in my life, when I was struggling with finances, struggling in school, struggling emotionally, binge eating was my little sense of control. And of course I didn't know it at the time, but I felt massively out of control in my life. And this was just a little escape and something that I could control. Crappy food is inexpensive, it's easily accessible. And when I had financial problems in college, it was all I ate all day long. But it's interesting because when you're eating it, you almost feel out of control, like it's an out-of-body experience. It's literally like you're a drug addict. You kind of zone out. It's a peaceful feeling. It quiets your mind. It quiets your anxieties, but it's very hard to control the amount of food you're eating. Sometimes it's almost a way of punishing yourself. If you cheat on your diet and you have some pizza, you punish yourself and eat the whole 2 for Tuesday. So if you see food as good or bad, you're overeating in excess, you're checking out while you're doing it, and you feel massive amounts of guilt or shame afterwards, it's most likely that you have binge eating disorder. So now that we know what it is, I want to talk about how I have recovered from it. Keep in mind, I'm not a professional. This is just what has worked for me. Step number 1 is to recognize that you have an eating disorder. I knew anorexia was an eating disorder. I knew bulimia was an eating disorder. I knew that what I was doing did not feel good, but I didn't realize that binge eating is an eating disorder. So step 1 to recovery is realizing that you have a problem. Step number 2 is to focus on health instead of weight loss or on diets. Say bye-bye to Weight Watchers, say bye-bye to paleo. This little tip helped me change everything around, and that's to focus on my health. Focus on eating healthy, whole foods most of the time, and then yes, you can have your burger and fries, you can stuff yourself at Thanksgiving, you can have apple pie a la mode. Just make about 80% of your diet healthy, whole foods, and then enjoy some popcorn at the movies, enjoy some cake on your birthday. All food should be enjoyable. Find healthy foods that taste good to you. We're not gonna eat lettuce and cucumbers, that is not a meal. Find recipes that are healthy, that keep you satiated, keep you satisfied, and that taste absolutely delicious. Say goodbye to dieting. Allow yourself to indulge. That is absolutely healthy. It's good for your body, and it's good for your mental health. Tip number 3 is to plan meals so you don't have to think about food all day. I like to eat similar things on a day-to-day. Part of what was so stressful about my binge eating disorder is that I thought about food all day long, 24/7. Where's my next fix coming from? But now I know what I'm gonna eat. I have my same thing for breakfast. I have my same few go-tos for lunch. I have the same restaurants that I order from. I know they're healthy. I know what the ingredients are, and it takes a lot of the anxiety and guesswork out of it. And again, the focus is on health. We want to feed our bodies with the healthiest foods possible. We're not thinking about weight. We're not counting calories, we're not counting macros. Our body's gonna let us know when we're full. And the bulk of your meals are healthy, then we're gonna add in a little variety. We're gonna go on a date night and order the cheese platter. We're gonna go to a holiday party. We're gonna have eggnog shots with our fun Aunt Debbie. But for me, when I plan my meals ahead of time or have my go-tos, it takes all the anxiety and stress out of eating healthy. To me, it's perfectly clear we're falling in love. Tip number 4 is to feel all of the feels. I used to use food as a drug, and it made me number than Frosty's snowballs. Also, knowing your triggers is very important. For me personally, when my finances are shaky, it made it harder for me to eat healthy foods because I didn't have enough money to buy them. And that made me depressed, made me anxious, and I calmed those nerves and feelings with food. But then a month later, I was still in the same situation. So take action steps to fixing whatever's going on in your life. And if it's something you can't physically change, then change your mindset. But whatever's going on, make sure you feel out the emotions. Allow Allow yourself to have a crappy day. Allow yourself to be angry. Allow yourself to be worried. Whatever it is you're feeling is a signal that something in your life needs to change. So listen to that and honor that and put in the work.
In store for us. We're falling in love. Hey. Take.
Tip number 5 is mindful eating. Be present while you're eating and not only pay attention to your hunger levels, enjoy and savor every single bite. It's so weird because I used to think about food all day long, and then once I started eating, I would check out and just feel numb. Now it's the exact opposite. I'm present in the 10 to 15 minutes while I'm eating, I enjoy my food, and then I have the rest of the day free to think about other things, and it takes so much of the pressure and anxiety off of food, off of diet. Make sure you're mindful while you're eating.
Yeah, something in store for us. We're falling in love.
Now, I don't know if you're sweaty yet, but let me tell you, my body is saltier than Charlie Brown's peanuts right about now.
No, it's the time of the year when something's in store for us. 'Cause we're falling in love.
Tip number 6 is to get professional help. Binge eating disorder can often be a result of emotional abuse, physical abuse, PTSD, emotional trauma, and of course the reason for the anxiety and depression might be poor body image and trying to look a certain way. So that's something to be mindful of. And it's so hard to ask for help because not only is it shameful, a lot of people don't realize it's an eating disorder. So how are you going to ask for help with something that you don't know is a real issue? Or find the right professional if you don't know that you have an eating disorder? So please get professional help. It's very hard to do on your own, especially in the beginning. This isn't just a flip of a switch thing. Your brain is in this binge eating cycle and you need to actually rewire your brain, rewire the way you think, and it helps so much to have support throughout the process. Tip number 7 is to exercise. It relieves stress and anxiety and helps with depression. Now be mindful not to over-exercise. Binging and purging is not just binging and then throwing up afterwards. If you binge and then over-exercise, that is also a way of purging. Just like we're gonna eat for health, we're also gonna exercise for health. Tip number 8 is to journal. Sometimes you just need to get all those terrible feelings out onto the page, get them out of your body, out of your system. This will help to keep you present, help you find out what's really going on. And when you know what's going on, you can figure out ways to change it. So no more numbing out, take out your journal, write out what's going on, and also write things you're grateful for, especially with your beautiful body. Binge eating can really do a number on your health. And when we're really grateful for the body that we've been given, the beautiful body that allows us to do so many things, we're more likely to treat it lovingly, feed it with healthy foods, and move it in ways that feel good and empowering.
First flake of snow is set to fall today. It comes to say that Christmas is on.
Again, we're gonna shift our mindset toward health. If we're trying to look a certain way or have a perfect body, that's not happy times. Start loving your body right now for everything that it does for you, no matter what weight you're at, no matter what you look like. That was maybe the hardest step for me, is just to accept where my body is, accept the shape that I am, and really enjoy my body, feel sensual in my body. And journal writing and gratitude can help rewire your brain. Highly, highly recommend it.
Snow this winter is promised for this day.
number 9 is body positivity. Binge eating disorder and negative body image go hand in hand. Talk to yourself like you would talk to a friend. You would never in a million years say, "Hey Becky, I'll love you and be your friend once you lose 20 pounds." You would never ever say that to anyone, especially not somebody you love. So why do we talk to ourselves that way? So be aware of what you're saying about yourself, what you're saying to yourself, and practice affirmations so you can yet again rewire your brain to fall in love with the beautiful person that you are. Number 10 is to see all food as good food. All food has its place. Yes, you can have some Halloween candy on Halloween. Yes, you can make cookies with your kids and eat one too. See all food as having its time and place. Again, we're focusing on health. So the bulk of your diet, you want to be healthy foods. The majority of my meals are healthy. I eat the same things every week, and those are good, healthy foods for my body. I'll also go over to a friend's house for dinner and they'll bring crumble cookie, and Lord knows I'm having some crumble cookie. It is also good to indulge in a cookie here and there. Eating sweets and treats and buttery delicious meals are part of healthy eating. And I know this is especially difficult around the holidays because there are lots of treats everywhere. People bring cookies into work. There are lots of holiday parties. And yes, you might indulge a little more than you would throughout the rest of the year, but just make sure that the bulk of your meals, your day to day, you're eating healthy foods, and we don't want any stress or guilt associated with eating sweets or treats. All food is good food and has its place. Tip number 11 is to remember that it's a journey. It takes time, patience, practice, and consistency to rewire your brain and see all foods as good foods. It was about 15 years ago now that I had binge eating disorder at its peak. Once I realized I had an eating disorder, I was then able to switch it around. It's taken years to reframe how I see food, how I see my body. So be consistent, but also be patient with yourself. And this isn't true for everyone, but I personally have relapsed a few times, especially when I go through a traumatic event in life. It's very easy to take comfort back in those old habits. But when I do that, I can recognize it and easily practice these steps and turn it around. So keep in mind, it's a journey. If you slip up, and it probably will happen, it's okay. The less guilty you feel about that, and the more love you can give yourself throughout those times, the quicker and easier it's gonna be to get back into healthy eating and back into balance. And for our final tip, we're gonna remove people from our lives who reinforce our poor self-image. If there are people in your life, especially someone really close to you like a boyfriend or a family member, who point out your flaws, make you feel bad for the size of your body or for your weight, you need to get rid of those toxic Tinas, okay? Surround yourself with people who love you for the person that you are, who will support you in this journey, and just know that you're not alone. If you want to talk to me, you can DM me on Instagram. I know it's not an easy thing to go through, especially when you go through it alone. I didn't talk about this to anybody because it was so shameful for me. I worked on it on my own, and it really would have helped to have some support. Once I had recovered, I finally did tell family members about it, and then one family member was spreading rumors that I had bulimia, and that was really hard for me because they just assumed because I was binge eating that I was purging, and not that bulimia is any more shameful than binge eating. It's just very difficult to share something so personal and so shameful and not to be understood. So make sure you find supportive people around you. Share this with people who you know will have your back. And if you've suffered with this or still are suffering with this, I feel for you. I've been there. I might be there again here and there, but I know for a fact I will come back from it. And I know you can too. Looking back, I can see where binge eating started in my life. I was about 19 years old. I had my first serious boyfriend, and he made me feel awful about my body. It's crazy, I still remember this. He said he was usually more attracted to ballerina type, and that he wasn't attracted to my body type. I was very muscular. I have a beautiful, strong, athletic body, especially back then. And that's not everybody's jam, and that's totally fine. But that's the first time I ever had hatred toward my body. It's the first time I ever tried dieting, and it started this vicious cycle of trying to be perfect on my diet, and then when I wasn't, I was mad at myself. I would binge eat, and I wasn't eating enough at the time, so I felt hungry all of the time. But since I was restricting and binging, I never got into good shape. In fact, I ended up gaining weight once I started dieting. I'm so happy to say that now I have a really beautiful and healthy relationship with my body and with myself, and maybe it's just because I'm older, I just don't really give a shit what people think as much. I think my body's beautiful, I love my body, and if someone doesn't like it, they can kiss my mistletoes. They don't need to look at me, they don't need to be in a relationship with me. So start with building up your self-confidence and fix your relationship with your body. Don't let anyone tell you you're not beautiful enough to be loved. You've made it to the end of the video. Congratulations. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any more of these super fun, slightly punny, and very effective workouts. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, share it with your friends. We'll see you next time.